Well, thank God, just like that, this thing is over. My God, what a boring show. God, this is the most boring show I've ever forced myself to watch. It's really hard to watch someone be like, for 3 seasons. Like, not only is this boring, I'm just annoyed. She's such a queen baby. For somebody who has so much money and no real problems, she is so miserable. Not all the time. Not all the time. But okay, let me know if y'all want like a deep dive on this season, because I've been traveling back to the US. I've been busy, but I've been trying to keep up with this show, and I don't have the motivation to talk about it because it's that bad. But then again, it has a lot of lessons to learn, to teach us, right? And you know, whenever I cannot stand a character or multiple characters in a show, or if I'm bored out of my mind, I always blame the writer, because it's not the acting. This is a writing problem. I'm so bored. I don't care about any of these characters, and I swear the writers really hate her. She is insufferable. And, you know, as Cecilia Regina talks about the humiliation ritual, I mean, I swear, all they do is humiliate these women. And even him, he's just like pissing his pants. How do you, like the season finale? I didn't care what happened to anybody. And I'm like, oh, great, they have a backed up toilet. How funny. What, did a teenager write this? Now you got me looking at the Titanic dude differently. Like, so much of this is just unbelievable, okay? I'm just going to summarize some stuff. And then if you want more, let me know which part. Seema, okay, this guy, I'm sorry. They are not compatible. I am glad he doesn't believe in marriage. Now he's not going to take all her money. And even though he's hot and she deserves a hot younger guy, like, she is a city woman. And this guy is a hippie. He doesn't wear, like, deodorant or something. Like, I feel like even though they got her, like, a handsome younger man, he seems pretty emotionally intelligent, seems to really like her, I guess, but like this feels like Charlotte all over. Okay, we're gonna give you a guy. We're gonna give him a hairy back. We're gonna make you convert for him to a whole new religion. We're gonna make him sit on furniture with his balls. Like, you know, I don't know. I just feel, yeah, people are complicated. Drama is what makes for good stories. But all of this feels like a cartoon. This feels like a joke. It doesn't feel real. Like, every single thing feels like someone like was just sitting around the table like, wouldn't it be funny if this really cartoonishly like character comes in and it, like, I don't care about anybody. And when I don't care about somebody, it's the right. You know, I will say this. Thank you for keeping him out of this. But also, like, as much as I cannot stand this little homosexual, you all know, I've been talking about how much I cannot stand Steve. How can you make me feel like you did Steve really dirty too? Like, I'm sitting here feeling bad for this man for the first time ever. Because I'm like, why is he here? Does he really talk like that? I'm sorry, I lived in New York for 7 years, and I feel like he's exaggerating this accent, like the way he talks. I mean, I don't know, maybe because he is such a prick that I've always thought ruined Miranda's life, because Miranda has her own internalized misogyny she hadn't. But I don't know. I just, like, everything about this was unsatisfying. You should have left him to take care of his own mom. At least she kind of got a happy ending. You know, Miranda has always been my favorite character, as flawed as she is. I could always relate to her the most, being a tomboy and all these other things. But apparently she's a lesbian, which I'm not. But even that storyline, they screwed up so bad, and they screwed her over so bad. That was bad, right? If you have everyone on the internet hating a character it's bad, right? Because it's not the acting. I mean, they did nothing but, like, humiliate Miranda for these, well, in general, but like, Sex and the City did that too. But just like, they just made her so unlikable, and they had her just a complete mess. I don't know. And then I just feel like she was navigating stuff that it was like, why did you choose this of all things? At what point has she become an alcoholic? Like, where did that come from? Why does she have a home? And then when Carrie, in her 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom apartment, I cannot imagine how much that thing has, this giant empty apartment with as if she needed any more shoes in her life, the cat. And then she finally lets her best friend stay with her What took you so long, Carrie? She was like couch surfing. That never made sense to me. There's so many plot lines that make no sense to me in this. And then Miranda does move in and she is like a super selfish, inconsiderate jerk. That does not seem in line with her character. She's eating Carrie's yolk, eating the last banana. I'm sorry, but Miranda is a mother. And she's been mothering Brady and Steve and Steve's mom for a long time. You will never convince me that she would have just gone into Carrie's flat and just been that not thoughtful based on, like, Carrie's the one who's not thoughtful, right? Remember, Carrie's the one who like sent Aiden over to help Miranda. Like, Carrie is the selfish, terrible friend. So the writing doesn't make sense. I mean, what, 3 seasons ago you could have offered Miranda a place, but no. And then and then she's a terrible roommate who also reads your book without your permission. Miranda wouldn't do that. You will never convince me Miranda would do that. Miranda knows you too well and knows the writer's life too well. She's just annoying now. Like, how did she become so annoying? I don't remember her being this annoying. I remember really liking her before. And then of course Carrie is just like annoyed with her. Well, yeah, but like, who is this person? And you know, they really did not address this well enough. When this dude Charlotte's husband gets cancer, and he says, don't tell anybody, not the kids, not our friends. That is the meanest thing you could ever ask of someone. And even though they showed her struggling with it, I'm sorry, that was not handled very well. That is almost, I would argue that's like borderline abusive to insist that she does all this emotional labor, all this caretaking, all of the doctor's appointments, is by his side doing everything and having to keep this massive secret from her own children and her best friend. And fuck you, Harry. I'm sorry you don't want to be known as the cancer guy. Like, this season had me literally hating like almost everybody. You know, I finally saw Hamilton. My niece showed it to me when I was back in the U.S. And so now I see him differently. I'm like, wow, amazing actor from Hamilton, instead of just like Lisa's husband. You know what I mean? What is this? Like, I don't know. Like, comptroller, I don't care about any of this election stuff. Give us some real problems. Instead of just throwing a bunch of diverse characters in there, but never addressing any real problems that would happen in New York City, especially with being in community with a bunch of rich white people. And that's after they already threw all these characters in the first season. And then just abandon all of them. Like, what were y'all doing? What were y'all doing? Anytime they tried to address something, they did it in a way that was so bad. I mean, they even have Charlotte fall on this mattress with this, like, naked person. Like, literally, you know, I know none of this seemed real. Like, I already wasn't a fan of Aiden, but like, their story is insane. Oh, we're going to date for 5 years? We're going to be together for 5, and she's sending him a postcard. She's not allowed to call him. She's not allowed to talk to him. That was unbelievable to me. Out of the gate, they have Carrie dealing with Aiden the way a teenager would be trying to interpret text. Like, what? You know, do you think, you know, maybe he thought you didn't want him to come? You're playing it too cool? Maybe. You don't ask, you don't get. And, you know, I actually really like her character. You know what? Seema's probably the only character I liked during all of this. But they missed so much opportunity for her storyline. I don't care about her company. Like, none of the storylines had real depth to me. And even when they have a cancer story, unlike the first season, you know, I felt like Samantha's cancer story, like, it touched me. It made me think about things I'd never thought about before. Harry's is just constant, like, limp neck jokes, pissing himself stuff. Like, I hate their kids. Their kids suck. Like this show, these writers had me hating everybody except maybe Seema. I mean, what kind of love story? I mean, I'm glad they broke up, but you know, who in their 50s is so not allowed to, who's walking on eggshells around their loser boyfriend in Virginia, who they bought a 4-bedroom home for, 3 bathrooms, like basically like mansion for New York City standard, so that his kids can live in this house even though they hate her. Well, one of them especially. She doesn't know where she's going to sleep. She's going to be standing in the field like a whole, oh no, you got to sleep in the guest house. Fuck you, Aiden. Carrie, you suck because you bought this whole thing for a man and his children right away. And he never even moved. And the whole season, or the whole show, was about her decorating this ridiculous apartment that she lives in. And the cat has its own bedroom. Even in her 50s, she has not changed a bit. Like the only thing consistent with this show from all the seasons is that Carrie is a pick me. And she even said it in the season finale that the reason she married Big because she was chosen or picked, right? At least she admits it. But the fact that she just like we had to watch her mourn this awful, awful man who hated her and then all of a sudden became a good husband. Okay, she chased him for all her 20s and 30 or whatever, all those years. She marries Mr. Big, gets this crazy big apartment, and then they kill him off. Then we have to watch her mourn and get hip surgery and just basically complain about being old and then do just like desperate stuff like immediate like get back with Aiden. Can y'all be more creative? These two are the only people that like, okay, you're gonna marry the guy who sucks, who hated you and just dragged you along for so long, but all of a sudden is good. Or we're gonna go back to the hippie. Like that's Seema. Like Seema could learn from Carrie. Her and Aiden were not compatible. This dude was like, oh, let's have a house in the country, and he says things like goober, and he wants to live in Virginia, and he wears the same clothes all the time. Like, I'm not saying that the opposites don't attract. You can't, but like, she is a city girl who's going out having Manhattans with her ex-boyfriend while her, like, so yeah, Seema's probably not going to work out. But Carrie can't let it go. Here, I'll buy a whole house for you and your kids who hate me. I mean, even though like they had literally just met, and she's like, "Oh my house." And why? Why is she doing all this? Why? The worst part. Why is she selling her apartment? Now, this is the classic Carrie thinking, why am I holding on to it? This woman can justify anything. Can't we all? Can't we all? Why am I holding on to an apartment? For the man I love won't set foot in there. That's the only reason why she has this ginormous house that it took her 3 seasons to move into, right? Or I don't know, 2 seasons. I don't care. I don't care how long she's had this apartment. But like, she won't even move in. But you know what? It felt right for me. It felt for us, for all of us. These children I don't know. This man I haven't seen in forever, who has a whole family and who lives in another state. It just felt right for all. Like, and even when she brought this up to Aiden, as much as I like don't really like him, he was like, she's like, I'm getting rid of my old place, okay? To get some Virginians to come up here and visit me. Me and my cat Shoe in this giant house. And he's like, you don't have to do that for me, but I want you to be happy. All this, because she wants Aiden to be happy. And he's like, I am happy. This has to be your decision. But guess what? Carrie's always going to make the decision based on trying to get picked. So it was her decision, but it wasn't for her. It was for fantasy of being a stepmom. Can you imagine her as a stepmom? Like, I'm sorry, I tell y'all not to. Long distance relationships usually don't work out well for women. This is another prime example. This man has his whole other life. He wouldn't, not only, like, they're 5 years. Who agrees to be with someone put their life on hold for 5 years and they're not allowed to talk on the phone? She's sending a postcard. She's afraid to text him hello. The premise of this entire season is bonkers. Then again, it's pretty consistent with Carrie. At least they were consistent with her. But you know what? I would love for her to learn a lesson. And you know what? Spoiler. Okay, I gave you time. Maybe her being alone at the end, which is probably, she should have been alone. She was only alone for a while because she was mourning somebody who hated her. But like now apparently, I like the ending. The premise of it is like, be okay being single. But nothing they did in this show made me feel like that was a satisfying ending because I don't believe it. I don't believe this woman has learned her lesson. Because like what, 2 or 3 episodes ago when Miranda just brought up Duncan, the writer who thinks her writing is brilliant. She has read us some of these passages. They don't sound brilliant to me. But okay. When Miranda just, mentioned, since like, you had fun with Duncan. Huh? Yeah, I laughed with him and I sipped a drink. What are you saying? Miranda, I'm in a relationship with my boyfriend who's on the other, he's like 18-hour drive away. Don't you get it? Not all relationships are effortless. Like, this is very consistent. This is very Queen baby Carrie logic. At least they got that right. You know, unlike you, who's like got your little relationship you just got into. Aiden and I've been together for 20 years. We have no, I mean, you y'all weren't together that long out of 20 years, but okay, Gary. So this scene, you will not convince me that this woman is this delusional, what, like 2 episodes ago, and was such a bird to Miranda for her just being like, so you had fun with Duncan, huh? And gets Miranda like feeling all weird, like, wait, what's happening? It's not what you're saying. It's, what are you really saying, babe? And, you know, have her just... See, now this was part of her book. The woman knew. The woman held on to what she knew to be true. Brilliant, Carrie. They could have done so much more with this couple, okay? They could have done so much more, but I was just kind of bored. Election, I don't know. Like, everything to me seemed like an opportunity to show off wealth and to avoid hard conversations. That, not hard conversations between characters. Well, although that too. Hard conversations about cultural moments, right? Like, you will not convince me that this couple was not dealing with a lot more racism. But instead, it's just like we're seeing her in these like really colorful, like stylish clothes that are like, I don't know, you'd see like in a fashion show or whatever. I don't know. I don't like, y'all, I'm not like a clothes person, but I was like, wow, she's got style. Again, these two. Like, what are you talking about? I want to know how much money this guy has. Like, I mean, yeah, it's okay if he doesn't have as much money, but he better be offering a whole lot. But we don't really know what he offers because everything is about, you know, him, his relationship to deodorant. I want to know how their kids became so awful. I'm sorry, like, I've worked with teenagers. I know teenagers have like a bad reputation, but teenagers are some of my favorite people because they are truth tellers, you know? But I didn't even like these teenagers. Like, I just don't believe that Charlotte would have spoiled her kids this much to the point where we hate them. Not hate. Hate's a strong word. But I don't know. And then the way that the writers, like, you can tell these writers don't know any young people, or like they don't respect them, or like everything was a joke about like his generation, like his friends that came over for Thanksgiving. Like, it would be funny if you didn't make it seem like you hate them and you're making fun of them. Like, there's a way to write jokes about generational, you know, gaps, like generational complications with it. But like, they're just making fun of the friends of his baby mama. Like, I don't know. You know, I just feel like the show just like hates women, especially older women, hates teenagers, like, just like, I don't know, like, I was just bored. I was so bored. I kept waiting for something to happen to help me give a fork. Like, I don't believe Miranda. Like, what happened to Miranda? Miranda used to have more sense. You have Miranda going and pretending to be needing a haircut or something. Like, is it just me? Is it just me? Do y'all want me to talk about this more? Because I could go deeper into it. Because actually, I would love to talk about this right here. Because a lot of times, and I do think this is a good thing to ask yourself, do I not like a character? Do I make fun of a character? Do I make fun of a show because of my own internalized stuff? Because of my own ageism? Because of my own internalized misogyny? Because of some sort of hating myself? Is that what's going on here? Maybe there's a little bit of that, but it's because it's a terrible writing, I think. The storytelling, I don't know, I have a high standard for storytelling, and I just like to not be bored. I like there to be high stakes. I like there to be challenging topics. I don't have to like the character, but I have to care about what happens to them. And if I don't care, that's bad writing. But like, this lady in her interview was like, you know, do you hate this show or do you hate yourself a little bit for allowing this to happen? That I got old. Whoa, that's a lot to unpack, but don't project that on us. I love aging. I mean, I don't love I hate back problems. I hate whatever. I love how confident I am. I love how much I love myself, especially compared to how much I was trying to destroy myself for so long. I'm very proud of myself for how far I've come in so many ways. And I also know that I have a long way to go and there's so much more, you know, I'm going to learn. And I'm like, that sounds like a you problem. I don't know. I think, you know what I mean? Let me know if you want me to talk more about this. Because I have things to say. And I'm not really traveling anymore, although I am on this farm because it's 104 degrees in Lyon. But let me know. Let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching, y'all. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want me to talk about certain characters or story arcs. I could talk about the original Sex and the City forever, and I probably will, because I think it teaches us so much about our social conditioning. I love talking about it. I haven't talked about it in a while. But thank God this is over, because this felt like torture. This felt like they were punishing us. And there's a couple articles I read that kind of had different takes on it. And I want to talk about that. Let me know if you want me to talk about that, because it felt like they were punishing us. So let me know. Mo's in the countryside, comet song, look at those boots made of dirt. Mo's on a little hike, and then at the farm, looking at Fabio, and Mo's just sleeps all the time and watches Fabio eating, because that's all Fabio does is eat every day. Look at his little feet. Look at him. He's so happy here. Mo's. And then look at this dog we saw on our walk today. And Fabio, I have so much Fabio content. Do you want to see more? I got so much Fabio. Oh, Fabio. Join my Patreon for more stuff, traveling, all kinds of stuff, man.